welcome back to another episode of Haunted America.
Today we read some chilling stories recently posted on Reddit.
Join us as we read about someone being frightened by a door slamming when they are all alone, and a chilling encounter at a haunted hotel in San Antonio. Finally, we'll finish with a woman encountering someone pretending to be her husband while he is at work.
All this, plus our reactions on today's episode of Haunted America.
Door slamming on camera while home alone. So as the caption says, I am home alone right now, and will be all night, or I hope so. Anyway, I was recording a video on Snapchat, crying to a friend about how I'm losing my childhood home. When after she watches, she called me and tells me the first thing she noticed was you need to get the fuck out because something happened in the video. You can hear clear as day a door slamming downstairs. And my friend's hearing things in the background of my videos like voices or scratches or knocks that I can't pick up with my ears is pretty common when I record at home. But an entire door slam, like the clearest, loudest, unexplained sound I've ever caught on camera, and I am scared. Anyways, I hope you are having a better night than me. So, about this little story, and I guess we should read about, or say who it's posted by. Underdash K Jax, Jax.
Yes.
Door slamming is pretty common.
Yes.
Right? I mean, well, maybe you wouldn't say common, but in active houses, unexplained noises are very common.
Doors slamming, scratches.
My little bit of gripe with this story here is all you can do is hear the noise, right? You don't see it.
Right.
How do you know for sure that it was a door and not something else? You know, I mean, I guess doors have a pretty distinct sound.
Yes.
But at the same time, you didn't actually see it with your eyes. You just kind of heard a loud noise.
It does say that in the videos, there's voices or scratches or knocks that she doesn't hear at the time of the recording, so there could be more to it. Also, it doesn't sound like there's very much debunking tried to do to see if the door slamming was the same sound they got on the video.
Yeah, not at all. So, let's get right into the next story.
Stayed at the Emily Morgan Hotel in San Antonio, Texas the other night. One word, terrifying. And this is posted by Broadway Nerd 123. I stayed at the Emily Morgan Hotel in San Antonio, Texas. I stayed with my girlfriend, and as a paranormal investigators, we did not know this place was extremely haunted. We were walking around the bar at night, and in a dark room on the other side of the room, we saw a shadow figure walking to the other room. We went to the room, and there was no one there, with nowhere to exit. At some point, we went back to our room, and my girlfriend was in the bathroom. I heard her just saying, "What the fuck?" And she walked out and told me she felt someone playing with her hair. At night, we started hearing knocks, and we decided to have a conversation with the spirit. We said, 1 knock for yes, 2 knocks for no, and then we had a full conversation with the spirit. It would respond almost immediately. So if you're looking for a good haunted hotel, the Emily Morgan Hotel is for you.
A little bit of background here on the haunted history of the Emily Morgan Hotel in San Antonio. Before the building was built, The grounds of what is now the hotel was where the Mexican forces battled the Texans in the long barracks of the Alamo in 1836. Over 600 men are reported to lost their lives very close to the hotel. When originally built, the location was a medical arts building, housed over 100 medical professionals from doctors to dentists, and it was even believed to have a section devoted to the care of those suffering from psychological conditions. My gripe with this story is they didn't go into more detail about what exactly they got answers back to. If they said they had a full conversation, which to me would mean every time they asked a question, they would get a knock back. Almost kind of like our experience
I was
at the
say,
house in Gowanda.
I'm not going to rule out their story at all, because we have definitely had this experience multiple times. So I think this is a credible story, but like you said, I wish they would have elaborated a little bit more.
Just looking at some of the comments here. Actually went to... Apparently there's a bridge. Is that bridge that supposedly had the San Antonio donkey lady still there? Maybe that's something we're going to have to look into.
And someone... Well, go back up to the response.
Oh, wait.
Someone said, yeah, we actually went there that trip. Didn't get anything paranormal, but we also went in the middle of the day. Me and my girlfriend are planning to go back to the hotel and do a proper investigation. Okay, that has nothing to do with the donkey lady, whatever that is.
So in the comment section of this story, someone under the username Ghostface_Star_Killa posted, "My wife and I stayed there a few years back. It's beautiful, neat, and a weird hotel. The strange shape and angle does a lot to set the mood. Example, something felt off about the room, and eventually I realized it was the fact that our room is on the edge of a triangular building. That means that not all the corners of the room were at the right angles. Minor things like that just messes with your spatial awareness.
Yes, it does.
But haunting-wise, all we experienced was mildly spooky plumbing issues. So while watching TV before bed, the tub turned on by itself and went through a jacuzzi jet cleaning cycle.
Okay.
The walls also creaked and moaned, but we were most certain that that was just really old pipes and really old walls.
And maybe some couples they didn't know were occupying rooms that they didn't know about."
Somebody commented back to that saying maybe the ghost was trying to tell you guys need a bath.
It turned the cleaning on twice, and they said.
Oh, here's somebody right here that had the same reaction I did. The conversation was the most important part, and you left it out.
Right.
So, I mean, obviously, you can book an investigation or book a room at a haunted hotel, and there is no guarantee that you are going to get any evidence. So everybody's encounter at haunted locations are different. That's why you can go back multiple times to the same haunted location, talk to a different spirit every time, get different responses.
Yeah.
Every encounter, every investigation is its own.
I mean, I'm not thinking that she didn't have this experience. I believe that they did have this experience, but as we've said and others have said, wish she would have elaborated a little bit more, would have made this story a lot better.
Exactly. On to the last story.
On to the next. Something pretending to be my husband. This was posted by Agitated Assistant 599. Okay, so I'm new to Reddit, so I'm not sure if this post is going to look correct, but I need to talk this out. No one in my family likes to discuss this. They say it feels too negative and like something bad will happen. But basically, I was home alone with my daughter. My husband works night shift, and it was maybe 1 a.m., so he was at work. My daughter was asleep in bed next to me, and I decided to turn my phone off and go to bed. As I started to settle, she doesn't use any commas or any kind of...
Kind of hard to follow along.
It's kind of a one run-on sentence here. So I turned my phone off and go to bed. As I started to settle in, I heard my dog jump up. It sounded like she was getting attention from someone, so I opened my eyes and saw my husband bent over, petting her. Now, my husband works in a warehouse and wears a very bright reflective vest. At first, my heart dropped because I knew no one should be here. And then I saw his vest, and I knew it was him. The only problem was something felt wrong, and I knew he shouldn't be home, and stared at him. And he looked up and smiled at me. I'm not sure when I fully realized it, but I knew this was not my husband. So I shut my eyes tight and refused to open them. I felt hands moving up my legs, and once it reached my thighs, the hands were gone, and my daughter woke up screaming bloody murder. My mom instinct came in, and helping my daughter was more important than hiding from whatever this was. So I jumped up and grabbed my phone as fast as I could. I shined the light and tried to console my daughter. All she kept saying was, "Daddy, no," over and over, while screaming this has never happened before or after, and I don't know what that thing was or wanted, but I found this group and wanted to share my story. I'm also going to add, I have been asked if this could be sleep paralysis, and in my opinion, I don't think it was, but the timing is questionable, so if it falls under that category, I am sorry.
Very interesting story. I'm just gonna read a comment here just to kind of continue on with what other people are thinking as well before we start talking about us. This person commented, "Thank you for sharing that. This is not sleep paralysis. This is because of your daughter's reaction," which is what I was going to kind of go into, right? So she knows it wasn't just affecting her.
Right.
Obviously, her daughter was affected by this encounter as well.
Correct.
If you don't mind me asking, did your daughter tell you why she was screaming specifically, "Daddy, no"? The reason I ask is because you had said this thing came up to you and began touching you up your legs until it reached your thighs. Did this thing touch your daughter as well?
Oh my God.
Or perhaps she saw it do something that is not human-like in mannerism. This is definitely a peculiar one because animals pick up paranormal activity before we do. I'm surprised he didn't start growling immediately. Animals pick up on demonic entities before we do.
This is true.
So, one more comment. I don't know. See, so you've heard stories of, demons or
doppelgangers.
Yeah. Taking the shape of a loved one or someone type thing. But where it really gets creepy is she felt this entity touch her and run its hand all the way up to her thigh.
All the way up her thighs. That's a bit.
And it seems like it only stopped when her daughter woke up and started screaming.
Right.
This is a very creepy story.
I think it's credible.
I want to know if she told her husband.
Right.
I mean, obviously we know it was not her husband because her husband was at work, and this thing disappeared when her daughter started screaming.
So it was mimicking the husband because she said the vest and everything was the same.
Yep.
So this is definitely some kind of entity that is either attached to you, or it could be a poltergeist situation since it's a very young daughter, and poltergeists tend to be manifested by young girls. Typically prepubescent girls. So it could be a poltergeist situation. And the fact that the dog jumped up and at least noticed something was up. It could be a dog that doesn't react
in certain ways
crazy.
Yeah. But just like this comment did say, animals always pick up on paranormal activity usually before we do.
Yes, they do.
I don't know, man. If I was this lady, I would set up a dang camera. In your bedroom.
I would call a paranormal investigation group to come in and see what's going on, because I think you definitely got a case there.
And whatever this entity is should be probably removed, especially if it's gotten to the point where it is touching you when it is fully manifesting itself.
Right. And it looked at her and smiled. So it's fully aware of you and what you're doing.
And what it's doing.
And what it's doing, yes.
So this is definitely something that should be taken care of almost immediately.
So good story, Agitated Assistant 599. I would like to see a follow-up. I doubt we'll get it, but...
At the time of this recording, it is June 3rd, 2024, about 11 a.m. And this story was posted 5 hours ago.
Yeah.
So this might have happened over the course of the night.
You know, we can message people on Reddit, and I have an account, so maybe I might message her and
try to get a follow-up or something.
Yeah.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I might just do that.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and say my favorite story was something pretending to be the husband. It was the most in-depth, besides the comma problem,
Yeah.
the most in-depth story that we had on today's episode.
I got to agree. The something to pretend to be the husband, a door slamming and some noises and voices and stuff. That's, of course, interesting, but...
The hotel is a close second. Like I said on that one, I think they should have gone into more detail about it.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to agree. The husband that's not the husband is definitely the top story of this episode.
Husband that's not the husband. Alrighty. Well, I think that is going to do it for this episode of Haunted America. I'd like to thank everybody for joining us, and join us on the next episode where we will have more of chilling Reddit ghost stories. On the next episode of
Haunted America.